New does not necessarily mean better. I see so many businesses spending millions of dollars on software that they truly don't need because A, they don't know how to work their legacy technology or have got in their head, their leadership team, that somehow in order to be a healthy, innovative business, that they need to completely revamp or invest in a certain platform. There's so much missed opportunity in looking at what your current technology can actually achieve. Not sitting here buying hypes, hopes, dreams, and spending millions of dollars that you really don't understand what you're investing in. So I'm going to break down a few reasons that you actually might need to change your legacy tech. And only if you qualify for these reasons should you be talking about that in general. I invite you to add to my list in the comments because I don't know if you know this, but software is weird and it's very unique to each business, especially with the modern businesses being so specialized. The more that we can just talk about what our options are, the less likely we're going to get taken advantage of by this multi-billion-dollar software marketing machine in big tech that is constantly trying to convince you that you're going to be left behind if you don't buy their latest and greatest technology that is for their bottom line, not yours. So number one, growth really exposes these cracks that people think in their system. A lot of times, they think that that's only solved with new technology. And this is when we need to ask ourselves, is this a functionality issue or is this something else? It might be an issue that you think there's enough cost-benefit analysis in replacing your legacy tech, but it is not a reason that you have to buy new tech, okay? Number two is your hardware. So a lot of people are like, on-prem is a thing of the past, but not really. Like a lot of times your on-prem solution means you own it and your data is more secure depending on what industry you're in. It's not at all a thing of the past. It's something that actually I've seen more of a comeback around in recent months. That said, if you have hardware that is simply not available anymore, like I'm talking about you got to go on eBay from '07 to try and find it, like it's sketchy as hell, then you probably need a new system. You bent it until it broke. So this is those Frankenstack systems that are totally over customized, that they're not even recognizable. That code was written by Stu in 1999, who retired last year, and there's only one person in the organization that knows how to use it. That's a risk and that's dangerous. Documentation doesn't exist whatsoever. Your custom data is totally maxed out. Your trash boards you can't even find them or understand the source for them whatsoever. Does this mean you need to buy new tech? Probably, honestly. But does it mean you should immediately just go there, especially on a team that doesn't have the behavior and overall discipline to document their processes? Absolutely not. See if you can untangle it, but likely it's going to be a no. This is my 5-year cost reality check. If you put your on-prem system or whatever you're running right now, your legacy tech, versus your new SaaS potential system over 5 years, what does it cost? You should go through that exercise so that you can understand exactly your cost of ownership for each, but likely it's going to be pretty much the same. You have to remember, though, that SaaS costs compound over time, right? When we look at implementing a new subscription on top of another subscription, then we're running that double pay scenario the entire time, plus the implementation costs of the new system. The biggest question here is switching costs are real. Can you actually afford that? You have to figure that out. Security and compliance. Maybe you still are very much compliant. You have the same security infrastructure that's worked for you for years. But what about your customers? They might be raising the bar, especially if you're in kind of B2B environments and all of these different pieces. You need to really consider what that means. If your system can't meet your customers' requirements, that's a huge problem. Next is internal dev talent. So if you're trying to find a NetSuite developer, you'll find about 500 million. If you're trying to find a COBOL developer, well, good luck to you. There is a generation that is exiting the workforce that does not have the same skill set as a generation that's entering the workforce when it comes to specific development for systems. Can you teach that in-house? Maybe, right? If you have Stu, if you call him back from Florida where he's retired, but it needs to be a huge consideration when you're looking at your technology. Do we have those internal competencies? And last but certainly not least, especially if you have that 30-year-old green screen UI, does your vendor even still sell software? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't maintain it or work with a managed service provider, but that does need to be consideration. About every week, I have to try and convince a new vendor to sell one of my clients an older version of their system. If you're looking for license updates, maintenance fees, those things can get really complicated and tricky if you're working with a vendor that this is not their day job anymore. In my humble opinion, if you don't have a use case on this list, there is not a reason to look at a new SaaS solution. You don't just upgrade a multi-million-dollar system because someone yelled the word cloud in your, vicinity. I see too many businesses getting trapped in these types of relationships because they just bought hype. Of course, I want to hear what you guys think, and thank you for watching.